Welcome to our training on selling to the General Services Administration. We've waited a long time for this. We originally were going to be hosting this training in a live classroom setting back in March. But then, guess what happened? We got our style cramped a little bit with the pandemic. So we're really thrilled that we have two representatives from the GSA who agreed to join us in the role this morning to deliver that information. I'm especially happy to have Miss Jennifer Souza, who is the Customer Service Director with GSA Federal Acquisition, and we also have Joey Phelps on the call as well. So welcome, guys. Just a little housekeeping before we begin our program. If you have a question, Jen's going to go ahead and go through her presentation, but if you have a question and you just have to get it out of your system, go ahead and put it in the chat box, and then we can make sure we cover it when we do get to the Q&A. Also, I just want to remind you that you are on mute, and keep yourself on mute. I think that will benefit everybody's experience today. I want to assure you that after the presentation, we are going to email you. Jennifer is going to cover several resources today, and we will be sending out handouts. You should have received a copy of her PowerPoint in your confirmation email, but we'll be sending that out as well. And if for some reason you get kicked off the call or have any technical difficulties, we will be posting this recording on our website here within a few days. So, if you have any technical difficulties, Ms. Renee is on standby to help you, but that is your backup, is this recording will be here. So be aware the recording will be posted publicly, which means if you do ask a question, you will be identified publicly. If you have any confidentiality concerns, please talk to us about that, and we'll accommodate you the best we can. So before we begin, I want to turn the presentation over to our program manager, Melanie Berman with Arkansas Ptac, and she's going to fill you in on some upcoming opportunities. So Melanie?
Yes, so can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Wonderful. All right, so I am Melanie Berman. For those of you that do not know me, I'm the Arkansas Procurement Technical Assistance Center, or Ptac Program Director. We have Ptacs all across the U.S. So we here in Arkansas are a statewide program, and so per our government terms and conditions, we are to only provide assistance to those companies that are based in Arkansas or headquartered in Arkansas. So just keep that in mind. That's not to say that we can't refer you to another Ptac. As you can see, there are several regional Ptacs in Texas and California, Ohio, New York, those bigger populated areas. And then a lot of the other states also have statewide programs similar to ours. Ptac, or Association of Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. I've put a link here, and we'll also be sending you this presentation afterwards, so you can always go on there. I did not see anyone from out of Arkansas register for this particular training, so I don't think that will be an issue. But if you word of mouth, if you want to help out a fellow business owner and refer them to their Ptac, say if they were based in Memphis, Tennessee, we'd refer them to the Tennessee Ptac. But our sole purpose is to help small businesses understand the government contracting process so that you guys can better your revenue stream, so diversify from the commercial sector and get into the government sector. Ptacs just in 2018 helped businesses, get $26 billion in government contracts. In Arkansas, it's about $900 million worth of federal contracts a year. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of money out there in government, and we want you guys to get a piece of that pie. So the return on investment for every federal dollar that is invested into the Ptac program That's about $634 in return. So, you know, we think that our Congress is very happy with the program, and it's been around for over 35 years, and we don't see any reason for them to pull the plug anytime soon. So this is the Ptac website. If you look at the map here on the kind of middle left-hand corner, that allows you to click on the particular state and see contact information for counselors in those areas. In terms of our state, we just finished our most recent program year in June, so I don't quite have those numbers yet. But the year previous to that, we helped our clients win over $145 million in government contracts, and that includes mostly federal, but also some state and local awards. That equates to about 3,000 jobs, either created or retained. And we're very proud of that. We're very proud of our Arkansas Ptac clients. These are our staff. So I'm the director. We have 5 counselors working across the state. Max Franks services Northwest Arkansas. Deborah Garcia services Northeast Arkansas. And then Liz, Tim, and Betty Lou, you know, they're assisting the Central Arkansas, but also assisting in some of the rural areas in Southwest and Southeast. We then have 2 outreach coordinators. Ed Mabry works in 5 counties, 6 counties in Central Arkansas around the Batesville area. And what he's doing is kind of recruiting businesses in that area and referring them to our counselors for assistance. Kim McGee, she covers the other 70 counties in our state, but she's also assisting us with website design and all the promotional emails that you guys receive from us. She has taken great time to put those together. She's our social media guru. If we decide to feature you as a success story, she will be the one contacting you and writing that up. So we're very thankful for them. And then last but not least, we have Renee Blackman. She's the one answering the phone. She's our first line of defense and helping with all things administrative. So what can we do for you? We provide one-on-one counseling. We can help you with interpreting government bids, and that includes state, federal, local. We can review your proposal after you've put your packet together. We're happy to do that. We offer a bid matching service if you're an active client with us at no charge to you. We can also help walk you through the subcontracting plan if you're not quite ready to be a prime contractor and help you understand that process. And of course, we put on trainings such as this one. During normal times, you know, we have in-person trainings, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. So we are sticking to virtual, and we will probably be hosting about 2 to 3 a month. So just keep that in mind. And maybe looking to do a big networking event down the road before June. It might be virtual. So we appreciate you guys all adapting to this new way of doing business. Our focus areas, as I said, are local, state, and federal contracting. We help you with small business certifications. We can help with your marketing to the government, which includes putting together capability statements. And of course, any training and information concerning government procedures. We can help you interpret the federal acquisition regulations or any state regulations in regard to procurement at no cost to you. So what we can't do, we don't have grants to hand out. We don't have any kind of money to give you, sorry to say. We do not endorse any companies. If a federal agency calls us and is looking for a minority woman-owned construction company, we will provide them a list of all of the companies that we know about. Typically, we're pulling them from the SAM database, but we can certainly identify which ones are Ptac clients and which ones are not. But we can't say this one's better than the other. We're not allowed to do that. So just keep that in mind. We cannot do your work for you. We cannot prepare your bid, and we can't tell you what prices to charge. That you know your company the best, and you know you must do that. We can certainly look at it after the fact once you know the work is done by you. And we don't represent your company or act as your agent, make any decisions for your company. We can't help you protest the government. We can certainly explain the process to you, but we're not going to be able to help once you're actively protesting the government. And obviously, we do this at no charge for you. It's taxpayer-funded program, so we cannot accept any gifts or payment for the services that we provide. This is what our website looks like. I hope that most of you guys have been there before. UAEX, that's our host institution, University of Arkansas Extension Service. So we are a university, so thus the .edu, and then Ptac. You can find any information here about our program, whether that's how to register in SAM, whether that's our recorded trainings or our upcoming trainings, and the services we provide, any newsletters, and then of course, contact information for our staff you can find at this website. And just to mention real quick, we do have 2 upcoming trainings next month. One is going to be August 20th, and that will be Karen Castle from the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. She is going to be talking about how to be certified as minority woman-owned small business with the state of Arkansas. And then on August 25th, we have our own Timothy Hicks, and he will be doing an intro to government contracting, the hows, the whys of getting into government contracting. And so that would be best suited towards a company that is established, has been around for a while, but maybe is just looking to get into government contracting, or maybe you just want a refresher. So be on the lookout for those promotional emails in the next few weeks. And this is our contact information. We have a Little Rock office, Bentonville location. However, we're not in the office right now. As you can see, we're all working from home. So just be patient with us in that process. We're conducting meetings via the phone or via Zoom. But our phone number, the 671-2390, staffed by Renee from 8 to 4:30. You can always call your counselor during that time as well if you're already assigned to a counselor, and we will be happy to help you anytime after that. So with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen and introduce our presenter, Jennifer Souza. She enlisted in the United States Air Force in 1999 and served as a personnel specialist and promoted to a non-commissioned officer until separating from the Air Force in 2005. She continued working for the Air Force under a personnel services contract and continued to perform personnel duties until starting her career as a civil servant and joined the 7 Cons contracting team at Dyess Air Force Base in Texas in 2009. She has her master's in business administration. She received it that same year. She started her federal government career as a systems administrator and computer specialist. And then she became a procurement analyst managing the government purchase card program at Dyess and later Barksdale Air Force Base until 2014. She has quite a bit of certifications there. From 2014 to 2017, she became a contract administrator and purchasing agent. And then in 2017, she obtained her Air Force contracting warrant and became a contracting officer and team lead for the commodities flight Buying for the Best. As of October 2018, Jennifer joined the U.S. General Services Administration, Federal Acquisition Service, and is the Customer Service Director for Region 7. Her territories include the southern states of Arkansas, Louisiana, and then the whole continent of South America. So she was born in Bossier City, I hope I said that right, I probably did not, Louisiana, and she's a true Southern gal at heart. Her activities that she enjoys include yoga, she's a certified teacher, she likes to garden, and read a lot of books and spending time with her family, including her husband and her cat, Fergie. So with that, I will turn it over to Jennifer.
Thank you, Melanie, for that introduction. That was so awesome. I'm going to share my screen so that everyone can see it, hopefully.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So I'm so happy to be here today to talk to you about GSA, General Services Administration. I'm the Customer Service Director for Louisiana and Arkansas. I have 3 key takeaways for you this morning. You know, really, what is mass consolidation? It's called multiple award schedule. How is this going to impact my customers, your government customers, and who do I need to contact for questions? So, you know, those are the three key takeaways. Some of this content may be geared toward existing schedule holders. However, we will be talking about new folks coming on this year. So it may be a little bit too much in the weeds for some, but it's definitely some good information. It'll give you a view from the buying side. And that's really what I wanted to show you today, how to work with your customers. Before we move further, though, I wanted to tell you a little about GSA's mission. We have two main business lines. We have public building service, which is the service responsible for maintaining our federal properties, you know, leasing, real estate. So that's the PBS side. And then we have the federal acquisition service side, where we're responsible for providing support to all of our state and federal agencies through acquisitions, technology. So that is our main purpose in life, is really just to serve, support, and guide. We are always trying to have a more efficient and an effective government, and that's really what our mission is about, and saving taxpayer dollars. And Melanie did such a wonderful job of giving you my background. I'm going to go ahead from that and move into the actual presentation. So what is mass consolidation? So mass stands for multiple award schedule. So GSA has been known, we're also known as the federal. So you're thinking, well, why GSA? So GSA is a platform for government agencies to use. We've already set up pre-priced agreements, contract vehicles, to make it more streamlined and efficient for agencies to be able to procure supplies and products. So with mass consolidation, historically, and we're still in stage 3, there's 3 stages for this. It's really to transition all of the current 24 legacy schedules that we have on GSA Library to one consolidated schedule. And so what does all this mean? Well, before we have several schedules, making it really difficult for our customers to find products and services, as well as our vendors getting their information out to our customers. So in doing so, we are consolidating, cutting contract duplication, cutting red tape, making it more flexible and delivering speed to the market. It's really about getting products and services into our federal agencies as quick as possible. So it's really about streamlining and making it easier to navigate through our platform. So how did we do this? We did this through a mass modification. So we do have contracting officers at GSA. All they do is write contracts and do mods. So we have our own talented acquisition workforce that's always working, you know, throughout GSA. So our mass modification was sent out in January of this year, basically telling the vendors they have until 31 July to sign that mod. And this is just getting them to convert from the previous legacy schedule to our new mass consolidation schedule. So we're trying to encourage our vendors to sign the mod. Some have not signed the mod yet. So basically 31 July, that's tomorrow. If vendors have not signed that mod, they will be removed from view, so you won't be able to find them in the library. They won't be able to respond to new opportunities, so they won't be able to, you know, look in EVI and respond. So it's really important that they sign that mod and convert to the new structure. So this will impact our existing schedule vendors, new contractors, and I know we have some folks at GSA or have never heard of us. You don't have to worry about any of this. As of February of this year, if you're coming on new, ramping on, you're going to already be in the new structure. So no worries for that. This is really for anyone that has a schedule that hasn't signed a mod yet, and hopefully they've been engaged. GSA has taken numerous steps to engage. We've done 30, 60, and 90-day follow-ups. We've had our contracting officers contact those vendors individually to follow up. So we're trying our best to make sure no one is left behind. So the mass crosswalk, this is basically showing you, when you get onto the library, and we'll pull up the library here in a minute, this is showing you what the old legacy schedule send looks like. So for example, you have 51V, and a lot of you probably, if you don't know how GSA works, so that was our hardware schedule. That converted over to the new mass send, which is next based. So next codes are how contracting professionals identify the product and service they're procuring. That makes a lot more sense to find versus a special item number that we created. Next base sends can also be searched for federal procurement data system. So it's very, very helpful to our acquisition workforce to be able to identify products and services through this next code. Next code stands for North American Classification Industry System. And it's been around for quite a few years, but that's basically when you first start a procurement, that's one of the first things you have to do. You have to identify the next code and the product service code. So mass send structure, if you see at the top, you'll see O Corps, 51B, that's that hardware. Down below, you'll see where they've been converted into a category. So we've essentially gone from 24 separate schedules to one mass schedule, a full word schedule, with 12 distinct categories. Under those categories, you're going to have subcategories. So for example, we have, under the large categories, we have office management, industrial products and services, but then there's also subcategories. So, you know, one large category could have 12 subcategories. In total, we have 82 subcategories and 317 special item numbers. It used to be double that. So we're be efficient and make our searching capabilities easier for everyone. So here is the e-library. You know, think of the e-library as your landing page. You can get to anything in GSA from this homepage. So I tell my buyers and my vendors, industry partners, you know, make this a favorite if you plan on doing business with the government or buying through the government. Very helpful. And that being said, I'm going to bring up the actual e-library. So I wanted to bring the live screen to you and just kind of go through everything in the e-library. So as you can see up here, you've got e-buy quotes. So this is the capability of being able to respond to people's opportunities, requests for information, sources sought. So both of those will be going through the e-buy. Also have, so this is kind of what e-buy looks like. So whether you're a buyer or a contractor, this is where you would sign in to view your opportunity to respond. Gsa Advantage is almost, if I have to compare it, I'll compare it to Amazon. It's shopping. So, you know, any product or service, you can put in a keyword and it'll probably bring you to the area you're looking for. And I just typed in office products because we'll be using that example here later. It is a very general word, so you can definitely limit your results. You can filter your results. You can even view them differently from a grid standpoint. Lots of neat little features that you can see here on the left-hand side. Here's our categories broken down with subcategories. So there's two different ways to search. And we could probably spend 2 hours just going through GSA Advantage, but I'm just giving you a general overview of the library. You can also get to the categories this way. So for example, if I click on Office Solutions, here's where you can see the mass, but then you can also see the previous legacy-based schedules and sends. But if I click on mass, it's going to break it down by category with subcategory. So I can see here, for example, let's just say facilities and supplies. Here's my next-based code, and the subcategory is restroom products. If I just click on this code, it's going to show you how many vendors are available under this next. So we're able to pull up vendor pools. So in this scenario for restroom products, we have 108 contractors. And this is fantastic. You know, if I were to do an RFI and I'm looking for a source of sought and I'm looking for some restroom products, I'm probably going to send an RFI out to this vendor pool. And this is where I'm asking, you know, is this a requirement you may be interested in? Do you have any feedback? Can you provide us a capability statement? So this would be a perfect time to do that. Because again, market research is the cornerstone of your acquisition. Great market research is essential. Can't stress that enough. Market research is so important, and it's continually ongoing throughout the acquisition. On the vendors, I can actually drill down. I can look at their contract, their phone number, city and state. You know, I can filter things. I can look at their socioeconomic status. Are they a small business or are they other than small? I can look at their terms and conditions and price list, or I can view their catalog. This is required. Becoming a GSA schedule holder, you know, you do have to have terms and conditions set forth. So whenever you do put in your initial proposal, that's going to be a part of your proposal is your terms and conditions. And GSA will give you guidance on how to format that. Just pulling this up for an example, just kind of showing you everyone has their own terms and conditions. And this is, you know, public knowledge. You can go out here anytime. I encourage you to do that. Look at your competition, you know who your competition is. But here, you know, they're going to have their contract number here, their federal supply code, also your PSC code, contract number, contact information, terms and conditions. This is pretty much going to be the same format for everyone. So, you know, if you have some warranty provisions, what is your geographic coverage? This question quite often. It's up to you as a vendor if you want to cover the entire United States, or do you just want to cover a certain area? I have some vendors that say I only want to do the architects. So they put in their coverage, I'm only going to work in the states of Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. That's okay. You know, how much do you want to grow? How much coverage do you really want? Because if you do put in here CONUS, you know, if Fort Drum in New York calls you, well, then you're going to have to perform or deliver. So, you know, keep all of this in mind for your business. How do you want to set up your terms and conditions? So they're right here. Lots of wonderful examples out here. Of course, you know, in your profile will also have your website. So they'll be able to click on your website. And that's another thing that GSA offers is a marketing assistance. We do have business development specialists out here that do nothing but help you with your marketing. And we get questions all the time, you know, how can I be more visible to my customers? It can be something as simple as just having a GSA logo on your website. So just for examples, I'm going to click on the website to see if I can easily identify that. Because remember, overbuyers out there, I hate saying this, but they start out with a Google search, you know. That's fine, but really you need to be searching in here to find what you're looking for. So in this example, you know, here's their website. I'm going to go ahead and click on their website. And a lot of times when I click on vendor websites, I will see GSA either usually at the top or at the bottom. So I scroll down here and I can definitely see it right down here. This is probably one of the most important things you can do for your business if you're working with the federal government, is to show this logo here, because everyone that's buying in the government, unless they've been hiding under a rock for several years, they're going to at least know when they see this, oh, that's GSA. And some of the vendors will link that link right back to their terms and conditions. It really depends on how the vendor, formats that. But this also brings us to Ability One, which is another priority source of supply in the federal government. So I just really wanted to kind of show you guys, if you decide to become a GSA vendor, kind of how to look to buyers and customers. Another great thing about the library, I can go up to here at the very top. So in GSA, we have more than just schedules. We also have GWACs, which are government-wide available contracts. These are our more complex contracts. They're predominantly IT-based. We also have MACs, like our OASIS contracts. Those are very complex service type contracts. But anything you want to know, you can click on the down button, and you can see MAS. Under MAS, you can see all the old legacy schedules. So as of 1 August, all of this will disappear. It will be a little less confusing, I hope, for everyone, because right now you're seeing double vision. You're seeing both the old and the new system. But if I just click on MAS, that's going to bring me right back to that structure of the 12 categories. So I can go down here, I can look at, oh, here's my facilities. And I can scroll down and I can see, oh, here's furniture and furnishings. So there's 12 distinct categories with subcategories. So even under the furnishing and furnishings, there's actual sports type of equipment under here. So it's really important, if you're searching, if it's a government agency, they're searching, they're actually looking and reading through all these subcategories, because this is how they're going to find you. And in you as a vendor, it's important for you to help your customer to find you. It's a very symbiotic relationship. So think of me as your neutral party. I can do vendor, I can sit in with government I'm really just there for support and guidance. So, anytime I tell vendors, I tell my customers, my government customers, anytime you need to include me in a briefing or a presentation, please do so. I'm here. My purpose is to support you. So if you click down on that down arrow again, you'll also see blanket purchase agreements, IDIQs, government-wide contracts. These are your GWACs, IT-based contracts. So anything you need to know, you can always do a quick search over here. We also have right now available is called the MAS Crosswalk. The Crosswalk is very helpful, especially if you're already a GSA vendor and you're just trying to navigate through the changes, or if you have been a big supporter of GSA and used it for many years, and now you're trying to figure out how to find things. So that would have been me, getting into GSA and asking what happened here. So luckily, you have your CSD to help you through this. But I'm going to go ahead and show you so right here, it's MAS Available Crosswalk. If you click on that, I've already got the Excel spreadsheet pulled up. I'm going to share that with you.
Jen, while you're doing that, I just want to give people a quick tip, a Zoom tip. if you go to the top middle of your screen and you see view options, it defaults to the zoom ratio fit to window. But if you're having difficulties seeing Jen's screen, you can change the percentage there. That's all.
So in the Mass Available Crosswalk, the first tab is the glossary. You know, this kind of helps you navigate through what is what. You know, what is a large category? What is a subcategory? This really breaks it down for you. What is the status? What is the size standard? So all of those notes are here in this first tab. And then the second tab, this just shows you the old legacy schedule converted to the new. Of course, if you're brand new coming on, and you know, you're just now starting, you don't have to worry about any of this. You're going to be brought on to the new system. This is mainly, you know, existing vendors trying to figure out where to get to where. This is going to show you new only. And it goes all the way down from those 12 categories, all the way down. And then it even breaks down each category. So I can go specifically to facilities and look at nothing but facilities. So depending on where your depending on where your business falls in, you may want to check this out and see, where do I fall in here? Because those are some of the questions that I get often from our prospective vendors is, how do I fit in here? You know, and usually it's pretty easy. They tell me what they're selling or providing, you know, and I'm like, oh, you're going to fall into law enforcement, you know. So really, if you're not sure, you can just call me and I can help you find out where you fit in here. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the slides. Let's go. Sorry about that, guys. I'm having some technical difficulties here. There we go. So here's the e-library. Back to that. We went over the e-library schedule, the structure of it.
There we go, Jen. Sorry, it was a little delayed, but we got it now.
Oh. Sorry about the delays. Back on the e-library homepage. And remember, if you click on the mass, on the main page of the library, it's going to bring the entire structure down for you on the e-library. So that's really nice. And how do we identify our pools? What do we see when we pull vendor listings? You know, you get everything here. You get their terms and conditions, their GSA catalog, their location, their business size, their contract number, all great information for the buyer. And so this is probably, you know, what a lot of people want to know. So this is, you know, from a buyer's perspective, what is it like for a buyer to go in and do an RFI, an RFQ to send out to you for an opportunity? So I'm in eBuy quite often. And it looks very familiar to what the library is set up to. So whenever you're searching, whether it's by name or next code, you're going to look up something. So in this example, I wanted to use office supplies, office products. So as you can see, it looks like they're trying to find office products. Now that's a very general word, so you're probably going to get a lot of hits for that. But that's okay, you know, that's it's a great learning experience. So I'm going to log into my eBuy for you guys. And I had this logged in, but it logs me out literally every 5 minutes. So I apologize for that, but I'm going to go ahead and get in here. So when I say I'm a neutral party, yes, I am. However, you know, my prime purpose is to support all agencies with market research or anything GSA related. So I can do sources SOTs. I can do RFIs. That's perfectly okay. That's market research. You know, here's what the top of my screen is. RFQs, I can prepare, or I can go ahead and reference RFQs. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and follow the slides, and I'm going to go ahead and prepare a new RFQ. Also down here, just wanted to point out to you, this also will help your customers. You know, we have tutorials down here. So if you need to know how to use eBuy, this eBuy job aid gives you screenshots, screen by screen to walk you through it. Of course, you know, I always am available to help my agencies post things. So, you know, I have appointments with them. We may go over the market research from one appointment, and then the next we'll go over looking at their documents. And the third, walk them through to get it posted. Because some people need that. They need that one-on-one time to get through it the first time. Even if it's the second time, that's okay. You're learning. But we want to make sure that no one is left behind or not comfortable with using this. You have resources down here. That crosswalk again, if you need to reference that. Ordering guidelines. We also have curated examples of statements of work. So a lot of good information down here. I'm going to go ahead and prepare the RFQ. And I just wanted to show you what happens when I put in office products. Of course, it's going to pull up mass and all of the old schedules here. It's going to pull up every single thing that has office products referenced in it. So that's why I said we're going to get a lot of hits when we put in office products, because, you know, office buildings, which has nothing to do with what I'm looking for, that's going to show up. So it shows facility structures. It shows human capital. I know we're not looking for that. Well, let's just pretend I'm just starting out from square one. I'm just trying my best to find it. I'm going to keep scrolling. This office looks like that might be what I'm looking for, because it's right here, office products. I'm actually looking for some desk stamps. So I think I'm pretty comfortable with clicking this. This looks like it's a next code. So that's pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and select this. So this disclaimer you see here, both sellers, our vendor partners, will see this, as well as our buyers and contracting officers. So this is basically telling you, you know, even if you click new schedule, the mass, you're automatically going to generate the old one. So that means, you know, if the vendor hasn't signed the mod, they have until tomorrow. They'll still show up. But after 31 July, they'll know this will no longer be showing up. You will only have mass schedules to pick from. So I get a lot of calls about this because it makes people nervous. Oh, what does that mean? So that's what that means. You know, you're not going to have to worry about anything. The system's going to automatically pick everything for you. But after 31 July, everything is sunset, and that will be obsolete. So this here, for me, I have 249 vendors available. That's pretty awesome. I can pull down the description. I can go ahead and if I want to do a small business set aside, since in this scenario I'm just doing sources sought and I'm conducting market research, I'm going to go ahead and say no. I want to see what I get back from the market and the responses. I want to maximize my responses. I always recommend to the buyers if you can just say no, at least on your sources sought. That way you can make an intelligent decision on, is this going to be a set aside or is it not? So that can hurt you if you're not making the right decision. It can hurt you from getting quotes. And it's important that you make a good decision on this before you move forward. I can select all the vendors and I can hit continue. And you're always going to get that disclaimer, you know, this is going to go out to 249 vendors. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. The likelihood that 249 vendors are going to respond is slim to none. So I'm okay with that. So I'm going to continue. Now, if I wanted to add additional products, I could. So in this scenario, I can go ahead and select it. So it looks like we only have one vendor that hasn't signed the mod under this one. But I can add additional categories if I'd like. And I can just start typing in here. If I want to type by next code, I can. But in this scenario, I'm just going to go ahead and stick with just the one category. And down here, this is very important when we tell our buyers, you know, if you're only seeking sources, you definitely want to click this button here. And just for this scenario, I'm just going to call it off. At Barksdale Air Force Base. And here's basically where we put in the description, just a brief summary. Down here, if you don't put in a date, this will automatically disclose at 5 days. The minimum is 2 days. But the agency can certainly do longer if they like, but they're not required to, because this is not under FAR Part 13, this is under FAR Part 8, the Federal Supply Schedule, so the rules are different here. So this 2 calendar days is a very powerful tool for our buyers at the end of the year. A lot of times we literally don't get money until the last week. I've received funding at 11 o'clock at night on 30 September. So it happens more often than not. And a lot of it is just agencies will try to plan, but a lot of times we'll literally get funds. For example, the Air Force will get funds transferred over at the last minute because maybe other agencies haven't obligated, and they, oh, guess what? You guys got a few million you need to spend. Wouldn't be a big problem, I guess, in personal life, but when you're working for the government, you know, every time you release that contract, you're praying, hey, I hope I made the right decision. But so that's a little bit of the stress that your buyers are going to go through at the end of the year. But with the 2 calendar days, they send out that RFQ and then get it back. They've met their time period. So very handy to know. I'm going to go ahead and get out of eBuy and get back into presentation. Delayed here. So back into the slides. We went through preparing the RFQ. So here is the seller side. So you guys are either a seller already, or you're going to potentially be a seller, we hope. So when you find opportunities, you're going to log in as a contractor. So for right now, this is showing you an example of if you're a current vendor, and let's just say you're under Hardware 51B, that was your old schedule, you're going to see both opportunities posted under here, as well as your new mass schedule that's next based. Okay, so they're going to get the same disclaimer message get, so they get the same thing, but this will all disappear as of 1 August. So as well as your profile, if you have a profile, you have to have one of those to register in eBuy. You're going to have the same thing in your profile. So Gsa Advantage, kind of like, you know, shopping on Amazon. Not a lot of changes to Gsa Advantage, and this is where a lot of your card holders are going to look in is Gsa Advantage. The only thing with Gsa Advantage is the catalogs. So we're not doing any changes to the catalogs. So even if the vendors haven't signed the mod, catalogs in here. And the reason why we're doing that is we don't want to affect end of year buying. We're in the 4th year quarter, and we want our buyers to be able to at least search on catalogs until then. So 1 October will be the day we take away all of the dated catalogs that haven't been updated. So all of those changes are taking place, but by next fiscal year 21 in October, we'll be on our new platform. So at the end here, this is just questions. If you want to reach out to our head PMO, anything mass related, certainly reach out to them. But I'm going to give you my email and phone number. I think it might be easier for me to put it in the chat box. That way you guys can see it. I'm also open for questions. So any questions, definitely I'd like to hear those from you if you want to type them in the chat box.
Yeah, so thank you, Jen. That was great. That was a great run through. And so just a reminder, if you're not familiar with the Zoom taskbar, it's either going to be at the bottom of your screen or the top of your screen, and you should see a cartoon bubble, and that's where you can put in your Q&A. And I see we've already got one question. So Jen, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Are there GSA opportunities for textiles and apparel manufacturers?
Yes, absolutely. So we have personal protective equipment. We have just regular BDUs, you know, battle dress uniforms. We even have polo shirts. I mean, we have a whole area just for apparel and textiles. So definitely. We sell anything service or product related. The only thing we do not sell are actual firearms and live ammo. We can sell rubber bullets, but yeah, we don't do the live ammo. The only way you'd be able to get any firearms through GSA is if you went through our excess inventory website, and that's for our federal customers. They can go out there and they can claim. So like if DEA turned over a bunch of weapons, we would put those out on our excess inventory website. We would give federal and state agencies about a 30-day window to claim. If they don't claim those, we'll put those out on public auction. So that's kind of how that works. So yes.
Okay, great. And then, oh, here's a question. What is the minimum revenue a vendor must generate and in what time frame to start the GSA program?
That's a very good question. So the first year, you know, we expect $25,000 in sales. Now, usually you get a leeway. Usually after year 2, you won't start being dinged for anything. So usually those first 2 years, you get established. So, but after year 2, if you're still not making the sales, then you would probably be removed, or, you know. But 25,000, I mean, that could be one GPC card purchase, you know. So, you know, that's just VPC. Those are your micro buys. Oh, Joey's jumping in too. I guess he put in a site, a link that might be helpful.
Okay.
So DLA and DHS, yes, DHS is one of our largest customers. DLA, we have a negligence relationship to DLA. So DLA is DOD entity. They're very similar to GSA on how they're set up. Because they have EMAL out there where ours is Advantage. You know, they have procurements. They can do assisted acquisitions as well. They also charge a fee for that. Certain things they have to carry that we can't carry, like certain types of fuels and certain types of hazardous materials would be more in the, yes.
Can I jump in here about DLA just a little bit?
Of course, yes.
I've had some real terrific experience with DLA because I was actually deployed. I was in Kuwait and I was embedded with DLA. And what I discovered right away was that DLA and GSA have a very complementary relationship in that They have products that we do not, like Jen was saying. We have a lot of products that they do not carry, but at the same time, their focus is on, number one, Department of Defense, and the second for deployed assets. And so we have troops that are all over the world, and they're buying things from GSA. DLA will often help in the shipment, in the deployment of that product to those areas where the deployed force is. And so it's a very complementary thing. Like Jen said, if they have some products like tires for trucks, those are things that you need locally because that's where the flat is going to be. And you can't wait for 6 months for that tire to be shipped overseas. So they keep those locally in forward operating bases. And then fuels. Obviously, if you run out of gas, you can't call GSA and say, hey, send me some gas in about 6 months, okay? You have to have those things forward deployed as well. And so that's DLA's mission, but we have a very complementary relationship with them. And like I said, I was over in Kuwait for about 6 months. At that same time, we had 5 others that were in Afghanistan and Djibouti and Jordan and other places forwardly deployed. And so, yes, we have a great relationship with them. If you have done business or you want to do business with DLA, we can help you. We have some points of contact that may be helpful to you. Also, one of the things that Jen didn't mention that I would like to is when you're doing business with GSA, you're doing business with the federal marketplace. And GSA, believe it or not, is actually not focused on just selling stuff from GSA. I personally have worked on several projects knowing that the ultimate product would actually come from a DLA contract, not through GSA. But Jennifer and I, our role in this is to find the customer's requirement and help them meet their mission regardless of where the product comes from. We try to stand up contracts that we can manage for them if we know we're going to get a better delivery, better service, or better price. But if we can find that same product and it's already stood up and it meets their mission through a NASA contract, a Department of Transportation contract, a DLA contract, well, we will guide our customers to that source so that they can meet their mission more quickly. And our bosses are all good with that because we, again, our ultimate goal is to meet the requirement of the customer to help them meet their mission. And so we don't just kind of covet all of that business and hold it tightly. We are out there to help you be visible to whatever federal agency out there or even state and local government agencies that you might want to do business with, as long as we can help them meet their mission. And if you and I are both focused on that customer, you know, if you start running around focusing on your own profit margins, we'll dump you, okay? We focus on that customer and their needs. And that's why we've been really successful with all of the federal, state, and local government agencies. I'm done, Jen.
Oh no, Joey, you said it great. Yes, you know, GSA it's really about helping and supporting the customer. You know, just a week ago, you know, I told a customer probably NASA soup would be the best bet to get this product. So there's certain products that we simply just can't sell if we don't have a trade act agreement on it. And Apple products is one of those deals that, you know, I know NASA soup can carry it, but certainly GSA does not sell that on their schedules. So, you know, would definitely tell the customer, hey, here's your source for this. Or if they need to go through DLA, or if they need to go through Ability One. So, you know, that's really why we're here. We don't make a profit. We're federal employees, and, you know, we're just here to help. Looks like I got another question.
Yeah, we've got several actually.
All right.
One I think was a little bit of a follow-up, so I'm going to go ahead and put that one in now.
Okay.
is, and I think you may have touched on this just a little bit, Jen, to get into the GSA program, are there any costs to enroll?
No. So I will tell you that there are companies out there, that will be more than happy to help you and charge you a fee, and maybe that would be something if you simply just have zero time or to put into this. Will take some time, but no, this is free. So is SAM, sam.beta.gov. To register in SAM is free. It doesn't cost money to put a proposal through GSA. Really what it'll cost you is some time and effort. But there certainly are vendors out there that will charge you a fee to do it for you. So it's really, and Joey, I don't know if you had something.
Yeah, be really cautious. If you go out and you want to get a GSA schedule contract or any of the other kind of contracts that we manage, if you're interested in that, don't Google it, okay?
Yes.
Do not Google it. You
Yeah.
have Jen's contact information, you have my contact information. Talk to Liz or Melanie or Frank or any of the folks there at the Ptac and let them get you in touch directly with us. We are the folks that, we literally, when we're in the building, we can walk downstairs and talk to that contracting officer that will manage your contract. If you Google it, you can end up with all sorts of wonderful, extremely helpful people that will do this for you and send you a bill for gazillions of dollars. Probably even more important than that, at the end of your contract or your end of your relationship with them, you will find out that they have, in their fine print, they have had you sign over the rights for all of the work that they've done to that vendor. And we have had over and over and over situations where a vendor wants to renew a contract or do a modification on a contract, and they can't actually touch their own GSA contract because they have given that over to their vendor that originally solicited it for them. So now, if, like Jen said, if you don't have the time or the resources to do it, call us anyway, especially if you're a small business. We have an entire office of small business utilization. And Albert Garza is world famous because he is one of the absolute very best at helping small business get a GSA scheduled contract. But call us, do not Google it. Do not go to that person that left you their business cards. A hint is if it says gsa.gov, G-O-V,
Yes.
at the end of the email, that's legit. If it says .com or .net or anything like that, that is a commercial enterprise who would like for you to send large sums of money their way, okay?
Right. And often the business card will kind of have a vaguely looking federal-ish logo, but won't really be a federal entity. Very good point. Thank you all. Here is another specific question. Are there contracts for architecture? Okay, this is a multi-part question. Architecture, real estate broker, LEDAR services and surveys, and granite countertops or granite countertops.
Yes, so we do have land surveys under our the countertops that would definitely fall under probably our hardware and home improvement type of area. Now the architecture and real estate, so we don't get into the business of construction. So anything that would affect things like real property, we can do environmental consulting. We could even do construction managers, things of that nature. But actual, straight procuring construction type projects, that usually falls under the realm of USACE, which is the Army Corps of Engineers. So, Joey, I would have to say probably no on the real estate. Now, we do have PBS, the PBS side.
Right. And what you can do, if you want to contact Jen or contact me, we can put you in touch with some of our folks that are in the public building service, and they often do contract with real estate brokers. If they're looking for a property in certain areas and things like that, they may contact you. And so that's a great relationship to have. But in addition to architecture, they, as Jen said, they usually, for the architectural services, they use the United States Army Corps of Engineers. But still, even at that, sometimes, especially like right now in this particular time, they are understaffed for professional engineers and architects. And so what they will do is they will hire architects or engineers to review blueprints, plans, documents, and things like that. They will hire them to review them and do everything up to the PE stamp or the architectural stamp on it. And so that way, yes, you can work with them, but they're not looking to give you the entire package. And so, Jennifer.Souza@gsa.gov.
Yeah, and we can certainly do like retrofitting, refurbishing, you know, things of that nature. You know, we have people, you know, get their roof refurbished, but the roof was already there. So just a little example of that. Oh, looks like we got another question.
Yeah, and this one may be a little farther up in the feed. Just, I think, a follow-up. How do we get the GSA logo for our website?
That's a great question. So basically, once you become a schedule holder or you're ramped on, they're going to give you those templates. I know that's part of the vetting on process. So the vetting on process is about 8 to 12 months, just depending on the time that you can put into it. Because I'll have to tell you, your first proposal going through our mod system may not get accepted. That doesn't mean you give up. You know, it may take the 20th time to get accepted. But some of our most successful GSA schedule holders did not make it on the first round and told me being tenacious, being determined is how they got through it. Because only about 20% actually make it through the vetting process. So
your contracting officer, if you do have a scheduled contract or any kind of GSA contract, if you'll contact the contracting officer, they can guide you to the site where you can actually download those. You can get your web designer to do that. And then from there, there are also some rules, and they will give you those, and those are on the site. However, if you will email jennifer.souza@gsa.gov, she can guide you to Steve Bartley. And he is one of our folks that does business development. And here's a shameless plug for Steve. Steve will visit with your business, and he will do his world famous 45 minutes that will change your business. And he will look at your website. He will look at different things about how you run your company, how you advertise and market to the government. And in about 45 minutes, he can give you a list of suggestions of how to have a better and more clear appearance to your government customer. So contact Jen and she will direct you to Steve, and we can do that for you.
Yeah, and you know, Steve, you know, he travels as much as me and Joey did, but he's also available now virtually. So that's the world we're kind of moving in right now is the virtual world. But yeah, Steve definitely knows marketing. He used to be in industry before he joined GSA, so he's a great person for that.
Yeah, so I think the theme I'm hearing is there are a lot of resources out there for
oh yes, I mean
contractors. You don't have to go it alone.
Yeah, me and Joey are just your gateway. We're like the beginning, you know. We get you to everywhere you need to go. So that's what we do. And every day is a school day. Keeping up to date on GSA policies, regulations. So, I mean, every day there's something new. But
great.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I address the question about that Rachel has about her product that she has and about testing. Rachel Belanger, she said, I have a new coating my manufacturer is trying to introduce to the government. Do they have to go through testing and approval? If it is a commercial product, then you can, as long as it isn't illegal, immoral, or fattening, well, you can absolutely market that to the federal government. Actually, if it's fattening, I'll eat it. But anyway, if you want to market that to the federal government and it is a commercially available product, yes, absolutely, you can do that. And it does not have to do testing. However, if you have a product and you would like to sell it to specifically Department of Defense, or if it has some applications for an industrial product and you would like to get that additional certification, we can help you. We have a lot of vendors who have gone through several of the proving grounds and testing regimens to get their products certified for use by DOD and in some very specific locations, and so or for different services. And we'd be happy to help guide you to that. Like Jennifer said, Jennifer and I are your gateway. We are that. A lady came up to me about a year ago, and she said, "I figured it out what you do." And I said, "My boss hasn't quite figured out what I do, but what is it that you think?" And she said, "You are the guy that connects the dots." And that is exactly right. When you need somebody that can connect you with a testing ground, if you want somebody that can connect you to a customer, if you have someone that needs to be connected with a GSA contractor or another federal agency's contracting office, Jennifer and I have a big phone book. Wait, people don't even know what a phone book is, do they? Okay, we have a big Google search, okay?
Google it.
Will help you find that person. So if you're looking for something like that, if you're looking for testing, if you're looking for other avenues to market, jennifer.souza@gsa.gov, okay?
Great. And there's one, I think we may have skipped over a moment ago, opportunities for technical staffing firms.
Yes. So we have a schedule basically for professional services. We have a schedule for, remember we're going to that one schedule, so even I have to catch myself. But we do have opportunities for staffing firms. Definitely. Looks like the next one, we have won DLA awards.
Yeah, there's actually, let me back up a sec. Oh, this one came to me privately.
Okay.
So I would encourage you guys to make sure that we're all on the same feed. But there are two that I think are kind of linked, and I think it's a follow-up to the logo question.
Okay.
We are a manufacturer. Our distributors sell on GSA, cannot get a logo on our own. That's part A. And part B, can I add new suppliers via a letter of supply?
So that was sent to you privately?
Yes.
Okay. If you're a sub or a third party, I don't believe you would be able to put that logo on your business cards. Now, you can have, you could probably say that you have a relationship with a contract holder.
There's it sounded almost like it's upside down from there, because this is the manufacturer who's just has other distributors. If any of your distributors are a GSA schedule holder, yes, absolutely, they can put that GSA logo on their sites. If you do not have or hold that GSA schedule, no, you can put that on a sheet that shows some of your customers, but you can't make it a link. Okay. Yeah. Again, if you want to call Jennifer and we can get you the link to the website that gives all the rules about that, we'd be happy to do that. But if you have a distributor network, or if you have, we have a manufacturer that's right there in your local area. They live in Little Rock, and they make a lot of really amazing items. And they wanted to get their own scheduled contract, and I talked them out of it. Okay. What happens there is that they were already selling a lot through 5 other GSA schedule holders. Just a single product, they were selling about 1,500 units a month of that one product through these 5 GSA schedule holders. It doesn't really make sense for them to have the GSA schedule holding it themselves, because that puts them in direct competition with their dealer network or their distributors. And so, but again, if you want to put that website on, or put that logo on your website, make sure you follow all the rules, and we'll help you with that. But you could link that to your distributor network. And you could say, if you want to buy off of GSA, go to our, Bubba's website over here, GSA schedule. And that would be perfectly legit. Jennifer.Souza, and she can help you do that. And we also have the Office of Small Business Utilization, and they can also give you some guidance for that.
Great, and it looks like we've got time for that question. I think you were seeing, Jennifer, we have won DLA awards, non-posted solicitations, which are channeled to the GSA.
So basically with GSA, anything in excess of 25,000, with a statement of work, you have to post that out on eBuy. I don't know why there would be non-posted solicitations unless they were just under that threshold and they were able to go and purchase it through their purchase card. Now, you have to be a GSA vendor in order to see these opportunities, because you would get a notice, you would get an email notice that there's an opportunity in eBuy for you to look at. So you wouldn't necessarily see this out on sam.beta.gov unless it was sole source over the simplified acquisition threshold. So if it was over 250,000 and it was a sole source to one vendor, then you might see a posting on sam.beta.gov, but that's the thing that you would probably see.
And as far as the non-posted solicitations, most of the time, if you see a non-posted solicitation, that means that DLA has a very specific need for a very specific product or service, and they will sometimes, because of the urgency of that need, they will go directly to a vendor rather than putting it out as a solicitation. If they do that, sometimes those are commercial companies, sometimes they are GSA vendors, but it's mostly because they have experience with that specific vendor. There's not like a secret page or something like that where they put these non-posted solicitations. All, as Jennifer was saying, all of their solicitations normally have to be posted publicly. But when they have a priority or an urgent need, and they already have a relationship with a specific vendor, or it is a sole source product or service, they can go directly to that vendor. But if you are new to the government, you have a little bit more work that you're going to have to do to develop that relationship with DLA or GSA. And Jennifer and I can help you with that. First things first, okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I know that both of you all have meetings starting in just a few minutes. So I'm sure everybody here joins me. That was enormously helpful, very, very useful information. I learned a lot.